Alright, so this lesson is going to be Daley's Reel, focusing on the Kenny Baker version mostly, but then I'll also talk about some other ideas, some other random stuff. But I'm going to go over the melody and the chords and then get into all that. So let's get started. We're in the key of B flat. So this is how I'm going to play my B flat chord. And B flat major scale, and then arpeggio. So those are your notes in the key to have under your fingers. This is a little bit trickier of a key than a lot of fiddle tunes, so it's good practice. But yeah, let me go over the melody slowly for the A part. So that is pretty much the way that he plays it. He does some variation over that F, over that. Sometimes he goes. So he doesn't always play that F twice, but it's fun to vary it up, and it sounds a little bit different if you're playing it fast, like, or either way you have these string crossings to deal with, so you'll want to practice going back and forth between those two strings, using as little motion as possible this way. Small motions with the bow and with the wrist. But that's a fun thing about this tune, and you can add it in other places too. But that's the basic melody of the A part, so you would repeat that. Now let's go over the chords. So the chords for the A part are B flat for 2 bars, F for 2 bars, B flat for 2 bars, then 1 measure of F, and then 1 measure of B flat. So 8 measures total. Let me kind of hum through that really quick. So this is how I'm playing B flat. To make it an F chord, you just take your 1 off and have open A, so you can go. And those are the only chords we'll need for this A part. So so those are the chords. That's the basic melody for the A part. Let's go to the next section, so the B part. This one actually starts on the 4, so it starts on the E flat chord. But let me go over the melody first. So the reason I played through it twice is the ending was slightly different the first time when it goes back, when it repeats, and then the second time when it finishes, and then it would go back to the A part. So in the first time over that F chord, I went, or, because then it's going to go back to, but then the second time it ends, and then he goes back to. So he plays it slightly differently, the end of the A part, or sorry, the end of the B part, depending on if it's the first time through or the second time through. But that's the basic melody. Now the chords, so I said it starts on an E flat. So this is how I'm playing E flat. And then to change it to B flat, you just have to put your 2 down. So the chords are E flat for 2 bars, B flat for 2 bars, then F for 1, B flat for 1, F for 1, B flat for 1. So it ends 5, 1, 5, 1. Short, so not 2 measures. So let me hum through that. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. So that's the timing of the chords for the B part. So now I'm going to talk about some other stuff Kenny Baker does. I'll go backwards, so I'll keep playing this B part and talk about some stuff that he does in his recording. So one thing is one time he plays it instead of, he goes, so it's just slightly different than, it's a little, so instead of, it's, so just some longer notes in there, not too much different. But then a really fun thing that he does on one of his breaks is, so that's another little pattern, just using the notes of an E flat arpeggio. But doing this pattern of 2 repeated. And it does have that string crossing. So it's another thing to practice small motions. But yeah, I really like this part. It sounds kind of like classical or Baroque or something. And you could do it the whole, like, you could do that too. So just keep it going at the end of the measure. So that takes up, so the E flat chord, and then the B flat chord, and then over the F chord he goes, so, and then it's over the B flat, so, and then over the last F and B flat he does this walk up thing. So that's just going, but then doing the same thing on the bottom. So, and then it goes back to, and that's how he ends it. So it ends slightly differently the second time he does that. Instead of going, because that goes back to, so when he ends it, he just goes. That's how he ends it. So that is pretty fun. Took me a bit of practicing to be able to play that part fast, so it's a little tricky, but really fun. So yeah, and then the A part, he pretty much plays it the same way on both breaks, I believe. Only thing that I hear varying up is kind of that, or, so that's the basic, that's most of the way that he plays it. Might not be exactly note for note the same, but that was my interpretation of his version. So some other ideas for improv. Let's go to the A part. So in this, it's, you know, adding some triplets, some runs, maybe some different notes or different octaves of notes, maybe some thirds. So how would I play or come up with a triplet run? Let's take that measure over the F. So instead of playing that, I'm going to play a triplet run. I'm going to use those same notes because those are the notes of an F chord or an F arpeggio. And I'm going to turn it into a triplet run like this. So I'm just... So I'm playing those notes, but doing a 3-note run. So in context, be something like that. So that's kind of a way to build your own lick. Think about the notes and the chord and the arpeggio and the scale, and then see how you can, you know, either add a run like that or turn it into a double stop or something like that. So that's one idea. You could also change the notes. So instead of, you could go something like that. Those are just the notes in a B flat arpeggio. So I like to stay pretty close to the melody, but just kind of changing it slightly. I was saying thirds is something you could add. So thirds is like when you're playing a scale, but skipping a note and then going back to the note you skipped. So it's a pattern like, that's a third. So thirds, you could go up or down with them. Something you could throw in. So for example, like at the end, could add a little triplet at the end too. You can always add a triplet at the end of a phrase like that. But yeah, those thirds, I was doing that over the F chord at the end. So that's a couple ideas for the A part. Now the B part, there's some stuff you could do. Yeah, you could add more triplet runs, you could add some double stops, you could add some more of that pattern that that pattern, you could add some more of that. So let's see. So that's over the E flat chord. And it's just a triplet run. Could also make it a little more bluesy. Instead of that, or instead of, here you go, that makes it a little more bluesy. So like, and then there you could do something I heard some fiddler sliding down on that A flat. Something like that. And then here you could go. So adding more of that stuff, and then, or So some double stops that you could add. So you could always add that B flat. You could add it there as well. So I was just adding this kind of like a drone. And then let's see. There you could add this F. That's another double stop you could add. Let's see. Oh yeah, you could also add that lower B flat. Yeah, that lower. That lower one could be another double stop that you add. Oh yeah, another lick I like over the B flat chord. It's kind of a chromatic thing. So I'm doing the same thing on the E and the same fingering on the E string and the A string. So sliding 3-3 and then 2-1. Low 1. So in context, something like that. Something like that. So those are some ideas for changing up your break on the B part. But yeah, this is a really fun tune. I hope you enjoy learning it. If you have any questions or requests, I like to, learn new tunes and also do videos that will be helpful for you. So, yeah, enjoy.